Hey everyone, I'm Jen Rice and I am coming in live from my home in Naples, Florida. And I wanted to talk a little bit today about uncertainty. I personally have been making some fairly big changes that are going to be happening for me within the next month. And it certainly can leave me feeling a bit uncertain about the future. Not that anything before was a complete guarantee, but I definitely feel a bit uncertain, and there's a lot still sort of up in the air. So I was thinking that maybe a video would be appropriate to kind of talk a little bit about uncertainty, because I know a lot of people feel this at different times and for different reasons. Sometimes it's uncertainty about their future, maybe financially. Sometimes it's being uncertain about a certain health outcome, like something to do with their health or their family's health. And uncertainty can bring people a lot of stress. And I think sometimes not knowing is sometimes a big factor for a lot of people. And I certainly saw that a lot in medicine, where just kind of not knowing what was wrong was a big problem. And once people kind of found out what was causing it, that allowed them to feel a little bit better, or at least make a plan accordingly. So, for me personally, I wanted to give 3 tips that I think could be really helpful for you, and it's certainly been helpful for me at this time where I'm making a lot of transitions. So the first tip for dealing with uncertainty is to replace expectations with plans. So what does that mean exactly? Well, instead of just hosting a lot of expectations in your mind. Like a lot of us walk around, I know I do a lot, I have a lot of expectations all the time, that really it doesn't serve me very well. So if I can replace those expectations with solid plans, like instead of me expecting the future to give me something, I am going to focus on what I need to do. And you could focus on what you need to do to create that vision that you're seeing, right? So rather than, kind of expecting something or anticipating something, you're actually laying out a plan to make it happen. The second thing is to become a feeling observer, which for me, this is a little tough, because I generally am a reactive person. I know that oftentimes I feel something and then there's a reaction or a thought process that goes along with it. But the suggestion is you have the feeling and then you acknowledge it, but you don't allow the spiral to go. So if something uncertain, it begins to bother you, and instead of jumping in your mind to more feelings of loss, which will lead, to this next thing that leads to that next thing, and the next thing you know, you've talked yourself into some horrible situation that isn't even going to happen. Whereas if you just have the feeling of uncertainty and just let it flow through, acknowledge it, hey, it's here, okay, boom, then move on, right? So I love that, just being there and acknowledging it, but then moving on. So the third and last thing is to focus on what you can control. And I was actually just talking about this with my mom at breakfast this morning, how there's so many things going on in our world and in our communities and pretty much everywhere. We're bombarded with information all the time. There's very little things we can actually control, but there are things in our own life and every day that I can control. I can control a lot of little things. So oftentimes we overlook all the little things that we can control in order to kind of fret about a really big thing that we can't control, right? So these 3 tips I thought were really helpful. They're definitely helping me through the uncertainty that is natural to come with any big life change. I love this quote, though, by Margaret Atwood. It's, "When nothing is sure, everything is possible." So I thought that was a really great quote to end on. I hope these 3 tips will be helpful to anybody who's feeling any kind of uncertainty. We can definitely put these into practice right away. If you have any insight for me, comments, if you want to share them below, I would love that. And if you enjoy this content, if you'll go over to my Jenn Rice International page, that has some other great content. So if you'll go over there and like that page, that would be great. And I hope that you guys have a great weekend, and we'll see you soon.